Hi friends, I want to talk about how personifying our inner parts or our sub-personalities is really helpful to start a relationship with them. Somehow, the personification process actually started in my dreams. I actually saw real people in my life that actually represents a lot of that part of myself in my dream. And then I just asked ChatGPT to do a dream analysis on based on psychosynthesis. Um, and then I just realized that my psyche picked the perfect people that I already know in my life that actually represents those parts. And then in my first dream, I actually saw this guy who is very lazy, just doesn't want to do work. His wife just, is a bread maker. And then he's just like this little child. I really like him as a friend, but I know he had a lot of problems in his marriage, and then they finally got divorced. But then I realized I have a part of me, which is like this guy, that there are certain days that I can't even recognize myself. I am lazy. I just don't want to do any of the responsibilities. And my body is generally in the free state when this character comes up. I just don't want to get out of the bed. I just want to consume, Netflix. I don't want to see anyone. I don't want to socialize. I don't want to wash the dishes. I just don't want any connection with anybody. And then when I saw this character in my dream, and I just started to be curious about this part, and I just wanted to understand what is the reason that this part is in my body. Just imagining that person as this part, somehow he has a name. I know his face. I know how he reacts to certain things. Just personifying that part with this external person that I already know, that my psyche picked in my dream, it just made it so easy for me to connect with this part. And I was just asking questions what do you need? Why are you here? And the more I get to know this part, I realize this part actually comes in when I take too much on my shoulders. That I want to do everything. I just feel like I'm a superhuman. I can do anything, right? I can just take on more responsibilities. I don't, need to, just stop. I can just take on more and more, work, housework, working out, walking 10,000 steps. And this part of me becomes online when I do not actually give enough rest to my body. And since I am disconnected from this part or with my body or what my body needs, he comes and he pulls the plug to a point that I do not have any energy to even get out of the bed. I literally feel that there's no energy moving in my legs. I cannot sleep, but I just lay aimlessly on the bed. And I'm why do I do that? And I just hate myself for doing that, right? I have a 6-year-old daughter that I could be playing with, right? I could be, doing something, but instead my body just can't move anymore. And just personifying that part with that guy helped me have some conversation. And sometimes when I feel the signals coming from this part, I really imagine that guy in my head and I'm talking. And then I say, I get the message, I'm gonna rest, but please do not unplug my energy, you know, like I got the message, I'm gonna take a rest. And generally when I'm like that, and I'm staying in the bed for a long time and frequent days, I still have that energy. I just don't want to do much. I don't want to cook, I don't want to clean. Even though like I have energy now, I'm almost getting into the energy of that part, and then that part really starts ruining things in my life. And now when I know that I have energy and that part is active because he had to save me, and I talk to that part, I'm like, come on, we can do a better job. I think we can wash the dishes, we have some time. And that part agrees with me. And now we are in partnership, and he's stopped being the sabotaging part of my life. But once I start to hear him and see him and understand that why he's there in the first place, to really help me exhaust my resources, now we are working as a partnership, and it just like started, and I really like it. So my suggestion, if it will help, is, can you really imagine a part of you that you generally do not have a good relationship, that you dislike, you try to hide? Can you imagine in your life, is there a person that actually seems very similar to the part of you? And can you start a relationship with that part? Yeah, let me know.